You're back for more of His Dark Materials here on BuzzChomp, and we're reacting to Episode 3. I'm Dan Salem, and war was officially declared on His Dark Materials.
I'm Mandy.
I'm Dan.
Subscribe to
BuzzChomp.
Woo! Woo!
I am loving this show. I can't say it enough. And in Episode 3, war basically erupted. Now, it was the war cries because it's the precursors to like all-out war, which if you watched the look ahead, you'll see Lyra's preparing for a true war. Who's at war? Well, we have the Gyptians and General Oblation Board on behalf of the Magisterium. Now, this is not quite so black and white. The Magisterium themselves aren't exactly declaring war. But the General Oblation Board is part of the Magisterium, even though it's acting autonomously. They're using the Magisterium resources to go try to get Lyra. Now, it's ironic that the General Oblation Board's snatchers of children are the ones that took her in the first place and how she went missing. But they don't really care about that. Miss Coulter, all she wants to do is get Lyra back. And it's because she knows how special she is. She doesn't realize until after interrogating the master that she has the AKA golden compass, which she figures out how to use, by the way, and it's kind of badass. She just kind of goes tranquil, mind numb, and it's because she's got magic imbued inside her. It's in her history, in her past. We learned about her father, Lord Asriel. We learned about her mother, and then we met, well, we already knew, but we found out the nurse that took care of her, the Gyptian, and kind of raised her, is taking her under her wing again so she can trust them. So then the Gyptians, namely two of them, go and try to steal from Miss Coulter's apartment plans to figure out where the kids are. Well, one of them dies, and that's definitely the tipping point. Somebody's dead. And it's not just anybody. It's the son of the king of the Gyptians, the Western king. And so he's dead. That's the tipping point. War has been declared. Now, he echoed his war cries in the episode, the Western king did. So it was quite a literal war cry. Lyra stepped up and echoed her own war cry. Marisa, Miss Coulter, the head of the General Oblation Board, echoed her own war cries. She broke the law, even though she's constantly breaking the law, by issuing out those spy flies. It's ironic that there is so much magic in this world, and yet all of this magic is illegal. It's because the Magisterium wants control over the people. It doesn't want to lose its power. And witches and magic flies and dust and the AKA golden compass are all things that wilt and undermine and destroy their power, which is why they captured all of the devices except for the one that Lyra's mother gave to her as a child. We got a further peek into our snake demon man going through the veil, crossing the rift into what is sort of like our world, but the other world that we've only seen two worlds so far in the show. And he knows he's not the only one that crosses. He hasn't met anybody else that crosses. So when he discovers that there's probably a person that's been crossing, he's going out of his way to track this effer down. And I guarantee you it ties back to Lord Asriel, who's been up north adventuring. It's quite likely that Lord Asriel has been adventuring back and forth between worlds. Lyra's struggling with who she can and can't trust, but it was really cool how it relayed her backstory to us in an effort to show us that she can trust Egyptians. Now, I haven't read the books, but I realized in the books that this information comes out much later. But it was integral for us to get this knowledge early on in the show, because we kind of already knew Lord Asriel was probably her dad. And because he's not been present in episode 2 or 3 at all, it was good to learn about him and that he is her dad and why he left her during the flood, and that whole story with the back and forth and the Magisterium trying to capture her because they were breaking the law, and then he killed the stepfather, and it was a mess of a story, and that was Lyra's upbringing as a baby. Very, very interesting. It was a great, great drop, and it was very subtle. Yes, we were told that we didn't see it, but it was okay, because it was amongst another drama in the present. What this show is doing so well is it's issuing the past and the history along with the current drama. Every war cry we received came with historical information or nods to what magic may or may not exist. They just kind of dropped that we're going to go see the witches and get them on our side, the Gyptians did. We don't know anything about the witches. We just can assume that there's lots of magic. We haven't witnessed it. We see next episode Lyra's going to go get themselves a giant polar bear to fight on their side because the Magisterium's really powerful and they need some strength. I can't wait to learn about more magic in this show. I can't wait for Lyra to unlock more of her abilities and more of her powers. I want to see Lord Azrael tab back in. Is he the one venturing that they're trying to track down through the rift? Or is he just another one that's doing it? Every piece of information leads to another open question. But this episode was all about the war cry, and I loved it. I'm Dan Salem. Comment below with where you think is going to happen in the show. If you've read the book, don't spoil it. I'm along for the ride, and it's kind of amazing. Coming back in for more of his dark materials here on BuzzChomp. Woo!
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo!